Welcome to Facebook for Business. This is the first of three in this series, and probably the most amount of changes I have ever made to a presentation between the last time I presented and today. There is lots of great changes coming about in Facebook. Some you may not see as great as the others. But I promise they are going to be more helpful and hopefully more understandable after this training. My name is Krista Meeks. I'm the owner of West Virginia Social Media. I have been, like I say, keeping social media simple for people since 2010. So that is going on 13, I'm getting into my 13th year of business. And excited to bring this new update. I have full disclosure, I've not worked on the Facebook 2 because I had so much to do with the Facebook 1 and training. So if there is anything that you would like to see in the next 2 and you're signed up for this series, please leave it in the chat. You can do the evaluation, but I may not see it in time for next week. So at the end, if you think of something you definitely want me to cover, I may have it in the presentation and I may not. I'm always kind of holding my breath to see what changes in a week as well. But feel free to use the chat if you have any questions, if there's anything you don't understand or want me to go back. Again, the chat is open for that, and we will get started. So what we're going to do, or what we're going to talk about today, is these things. And the big one is why Facebook is still the place to be. I get this question daily, whether I ask it or not. Is Facebook really the place I need to be? And so we will talk about that a little bit more in depth, but I always think for your industry, you have to think, is it a place where my customers are still going? Are they still asking questions? And we'll talk a little bit more about that and hopefully make that more clear to you if you're not really sure about that by the end of this training today. And then all the new Facebook updates, which I've kind of integrated within some of the things. There's new stuff to the events. There's new data to look at. My data, which I will show you, is not looking very pretty right now. Not in terms of what it looks like. The graphs look great, like the numbers look great, but it is cutting off in the insights. And so hopefully that is just a glitch. I thought, well, maybe it's my screen. I've had clients try it and it's doing the same thing for them. So there's lots of changes, some better than others that are coming up. And we're going to talk about each one of those, as well as events. Using events, that's still a really powerful tool on Facebook. And I think underutilized. I was in a meeting last week and they're like, okay, how are we going to market this? And I'm like, well, have you done a Facebook event? And I also said, have you done a LinkedIn event because of the type of event it was? And they were like, no. So that was one of the things I got just a couple days ago via email, because I'm like, let's do an event that will help. So it's still a very powerful tool and we'll talk about it. It's changed a lot over the last couple years. What types of events, what you kind of can opt in and opt out of. So we'll walk through an event. They've also moved where to even find the event, how to create an event. So I will show you that because I had to look for it pretty in depth. Very easy to find on your mobile device, but not so easy to find on your desktop. So if you are following along on your mobile device, you may say, I know what you're talking about because I can find it very easily. And that's good. Then create the event from the mobile device. And like I said, we'll look at data. We'll look at it in terms of what you should be looking for. And then I can show you what it looks like. It's not, it's hard to read right now. But again, the mobile device is better and hopefully that will be cleared up. It's been an ongoing battle the last few weeks. So hopefully it'll be cleared up here in the next couple weeks or so. So why Facebook, why it came about. People wanted to connect with their family and friends. Started in higher education where it was just exclusive to those people that had a .edu, and those people were connecting to their family and friends. I always say Mark Zuckerberg had to eventually graduate college. I think he did, either left college or graduated college, and then he continued to want to connect with people. So he had to change that to anyone and everyone can get a Facebook page. So most of the time people use it to connect with their family and friends. But maybe a couple years after Facebook had, been founded, businesses started seeing the benefits of using it. And we use it every day to connect to new customers, to current customers, to stay top of mind. It's a relationship builder. A lot of times, and this goes clear back to when I first started my business, I would have people say, oh yeah, I kind of find out what they're interested in on their, I'm friends with them on Facebook. And then that's what we talk about, 10 minutes for 10 minutes when I go meet them in their office to try to land a sale. I talk about whatever I saw on there. And so it's a good way to start relationships. I think a lot of people think they know you better. I always say it's kind of like your online bestie, you know that person really well. And so that way they trust you more. They're building that relationship, and that hopefully will turn into sales. This particular example I'm giving, he would say, yeah, we'll talk about whatever the game at the time was on Facebook. I forget. It wasn't like Candy Crush, but it was something, maybe that farming game. It was something like that. And he's like, yeah, we'll talk about that for the first 10 minutes. And then I literally just have to like whip the contract out and send it over, push it over to the desk to him, and he signs it because of the relationship that was built and how comfortable they felt quicker. So it is a great way to start relationships, to kind of stay in front of people, whether it's on the personal side or on the business side. And hopefully those relationships that we continue to foster will turn into repeat customers, because they're going to think of you when that most of the time people have an issue or a situation arise, and that you can go in and help them with that. They're going to think of you because you stay in front of them on Facebook. So there is still a ton of monthly active users, which I think is the key. There is, yes, there could be billions, and I think there's like 8 billion people with a Facebook account, but 2.6 billion of them are monthly active users, which I still think is a considerable amount of people that are using Facebook monthly. And overall, there's 1.73 billion users that are visiting social networking sites on a daily basis. So not just monthly, they are checking in every single day. And we probably wouldn't even want to see the stats of people that check it 100 times a day. But Facebook is still a leading platform when it comes to social media, even though it has seen a dip. I just saw an article yesterday saying Facebook and Instagram both have seen a dip. This past quarter, I think it was, maybe month, I can't remember the timeline there, but it's still reaching 60% of internet users. So it's still a powerful tool. It's nothing to shut down and move on from quite yet. And hopefully not. Hopefully it will stay. I mean, I feel like I've been hearing this Facebook's going to go away for a very long time, and it is still here. I still have clients that are doing well. When I read stats that say, oh, we're getting, zero reach and engagement, that is not the case for those who are using content consistently, in which that's what we kind of talk about in the Facebook too. This one is to get things moving and up and running. But we do talk about content in the Facebook too, but we can talk about it today if you have any questions on that as well. So the big thing is, are you using it right? So there's so many multiple ways that you can use Facebook, right? So we have our profile, which is, Kristen Meeks. It's my personal profile. It's about the person, not the business, the person. And then you have the opportunity to create a Facebook page, which can be your business. There's actually a professional profile that you can do as well as a page now. So you could be like a celebrity profile or celebrity page. And those two things get intermixed a lot. We say them intermixed, we're not maybe saying the correct. When we say profile, we're really talking about page. When we say page, we're talking about profile. So we want to make sure that first and foremost, you guys are on the right place for your business. Now, personally, you can be on a profile. You can do page or profile. That does not affect what I'm going to be talking about today. But your business wise, if you have a business page, there's a quick way you can figure out if you do or not. You might say, I have a business page, but this is something that I have. If people aren't sure, if they've said other things that kind of red flag me that they may not have a page, I tell them, do this quick test. Can you friend your page? Does it have an add friend button? If your business page has an add friend button, then it's actually a profile. and we want to move that over to a page? Or does it have the follow like button? If it has the follow like button, which is interchanging, you know, it says like, follow, depending on who you are, I think, it is a page. So your professional, or excuse me, your Facebook profile is your personal profile. It's supposed to be a real person. It's not supposed to be a business. That profile can add friends to connect. So you can go out, you can add all the friends you want, you can accept friends. The pages has to be created from a profile. So you have to have a profile in order to create a page, which is another thing that sometimes gets a little sticky. People don't understand. So you have to have that profile. You have to be a person to create a Facebook page. You just can't create a Facebook page by itself. There was a short time that you could, and those people actually, I think it was by September 1st, they were called like green pages or something like that. And I ran into two when this thing came about, and I ran into maybe a half a dozen during that 6 month span that they let you do that. So most of you would not be creating it that way. And if you did, Facebook has given you lots of opportunities to change that over to the correct page. But a page is created and maintained. It's usually created by one person and maintained by several administrators. And why I say this is you don't want to have a business page with just one administrator. Not to be morbid or anything like that, but if something happens to you, what happens to your Facebook page? And so as a rule of thumb, we want to make sure we have at least 2 admin, and that's somebody that has all the rights. You know, and there are several solopreneurs out there that I'm their second admin. I have a friend that's my second admin, because, you know, you want to make sure, you want to be able to trust that person, because that person would have rights to come in and delete your page. So you want to make sure you have at least 2 admin. If you have one admin and an editor, if something happens to you or you get, and what we're seeing right now is people getting locked out of their pages because of spammers, then that editor can't do anything. So you want to make sure you have 2 admin. And I'm going to show you in the back end of things how to add people. So you have multiple admin, and then you can have as many editors and other things as you want, and take those off and bring those back in, and as many times as you want. But as long as you maintain at least 2 admin, it doesn't have to always be the same 2 people, but you want to make sure you have 2 admin, usually yourself, and then, you know, somebody else that you trust with your page. There is a like button on the Facebook pages, or a follow button. And so you invite your friends to like the page. You don't friend somebody from your page, you invite somebody to like your page. And we're going to talk about that as well, as kind of a technique, but also a, you know, how to. So any questions with the pages and profiles? Anybody running into that they're still not really sure, even after this slide, if they've had it? Of course, you can screenshot this slide, but I will be sending the PDF of this to everybody, so you will have it as well. So don't feel like you have to take a lot of notes. But if there is any clarification that needs to be done between Facebook pages and Facebook profiles, please feel free to let me know, and I can try to clarify that more. And then on top of both of those, there's Facebook groups, right? And we just had a big announcement with Facebook groups about privacy and some content and stuff you may or may not have seen. You will see if you run a Facebook group that will be coming about, I think by the end of the year, maybe by January. A lot of times I do stuff in January. But Facebook groups is another layer of Facebook. So you have your profile, which is you have your page, which is your business, and then you have a group. So anybody and everybody can start a group on any subject they want. You can join a group that's already established, or you can start your own group. You can start it from your profile, so as yourself, or you can start it and interact as your business. Some groups don't allow businesses to join, so you might say, okay, I can only join as myself. And you can set that stipulation with groups as well. But why groups? Why another layer to Facebook? And I think these are the ones that are the reasons behind the Facebook groups being established, but there are some that I like because they just help reach more people and help, you know, get your messages out there easier. So in groups, you know, it's established a kind of group people together in terms of likeness. So maybe it's a lot of times groups that are successful are trying to help with a pain point. So maybe you don't have a group that's named your business name, but maybe you have a group named, you know, one of the services that you offer or a solution that you give. So maybe it's, you know, how I'm just going to use, I don't know who's in the room. So I'm like, how to get rid of wrinkles, you know, maybe that is your Facebook group, you know, maybe something a little bit catchier title than that. But if you have a group like that, then people are going to want to join it, right? Because that's a pain point for some people. And then while they're in the group, you can give them solutions, which in this case would be your you know, your business is in the wrinkle reducer stage of things. So that is an example of, you know, how you could use a group. It's a great way to build relationships. One is because it really has a good organic reach. So a lot of times if you're in a group already, you know, oh yeah, we get a notification, you know, Kristen posted in the group. Well, it doesn't make people go over there, but because it's a notification, more likely people are going to click it and go over there and read it. You can also see how many people in your group saw your post. And that doesn't mean they interacted with it or anything like that, but they saw it. You used to be able to click and see who they actually were. And this worked well with some groups. I feel like it was like a swim team or something that I know it's I know one that we use, it's the dance team, and they'll say, you know, like this post if you saw it, and they can, you know, if somebody says I didn't see it, even if they didn't like the post, they can actually see who actually saw the thing. So you gotta be careful who's has access to your Facebook page and scrolling and all of that, because somebody else might have seen it and not you. But it does help with that organic reach of just another place where your content can go, that you're not dealing with, you know, the 4-letter word of Facebook and social media, which is algorithm. I know it's a few more letters than 4, but we're not dealing with that as much. So there are some changes coming to that. And if you do use Facebook groups, you know, let me know. I can send you the link in this afternoon in the email with the presentation and stuff. You know, most of the time you can search it and find it. It's a fairly new thing that's coming about. I don't remember the details to go into it here, but there is some stuff coming around the bend for Facebook groups. Some good, some, you know, not so great. And then a reason for people to join your Facebook group is maybe to offer value. You know, maybe you don't really have a pain point. Maybe you're a product, maybe you're a brick and mortar. And so maybe you have a Facebook group that is for your VIP customers. So you invite people to join once they've shopped with you once, and then they get privy to coupons and new products and things like that. So there's a reason for them to be in the group. Sometimes they're shopping groups. You know, I have some that I'm in that, you know, that's the way you purchase things from them is in this group. So you can't, there's no website, there's no brick and mortar. So the way, if you really like these products, and the way you're going to do it is join the group. And then when it's posted, you don't necessarily have to be the first person, but there sometimes is a limit to what is posted, and then you purchased kind of via groups by saying, you know, I want it or something along those lines, and then the person would either manually invoice you or has some sort of program to invoice you. So not to get in the weeds of that, but that's just kind of like some ideas. If you're not currently using Facebook groups and you're thinking, well, maybe this is a, you know, a good goal, a good like Q4 kind of thing to work on, especially before the holidays. You know, maybe you have you know, some big Christmas specials and deals coming up. Maybe you have a Facebook group that involves all of those, and you promote that, of course, on your Facebook page and your profile, and, you know, anywhere else that you're doing any kind of promotion to gather people into the groups. So any questions on groups, feel free to put that in the chat, and I can go back to that and answer those. So what we're going to do today in terms of what's next is let's update your page. If you don't have a Facebook page, which is, you feel like you're the last person on the earth that doesn't have a Facebook page, that is not the truth. There are several people that have come to me and they don't want to mess it up, or their boss doesn't want them to mess it up. So we start from the ground up building a Facebook page. And that's not a bad thing to be in, because there are people out there that have Facebook pages that they haven't used in a while, and that's tough to build from as well. So either one, you're kind of in the same spot, and your first kind of rule of thumb is to update your page. So the worst thing that can happen is that you have a page that somebody comes to and your content's not updated, and they get a wrong time or they get a wrong email and it bounces and the website link doesn't work, and all these other things. So we want to make sure just to take a look. And this is a really good rule of thumb to kind of put a note in your calendar to look at the back end of your Facebook page, which I'm going to show you how to get there and what that means in your calendar, and say, okay, I'm going to look at this every quarter. Because I will tell you, there has been times over the years, I've been doing Facebook trainings since the very first, week of launching my business, essentially. And I would say, yes, I'm ready. I got my presentation. I had it all done with plenty of time. And I would go in there and they had changed something literally overnight. So they do that, and they don't tell anybody. There's no secret website. There's a couple websites that try to keep you up to date, and I try to stay on them, but there's just so much that even they aren't gonna, they're gonna miss something, or you're gonna try to go see something and it's updated the next day. I always say whatever I say right now is only good for this minute, and we may see some of that. We may go into the back end and I'm going to be like, oh wow, that's new, that wasn't there the last time. And I just did a Facebook update for a client early last week, so I have been in this, and so if I see something, that is how quick it does change. So we want to go into this update thinking these things. We want to make sure our Facebook page expresses the identity of our company, our business, or maybe some nonprofits in the room, our organization as a whole. Does it reflect that? Does the brand colors look the same? Does it have the same tone as your business if somebody would walk into it or go to your website? So really think about that when you're updating your page. Another thing we're going to look at is our reach. We want to make sure that we are staying in front of people, and the only way to increase that reach is to be in front of our audience consistently. And that may look different for a lot of different people. So consistently might mean once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. For some people that have a lot of content and a lot of stuff to communicate, that might mean 3 times a day. So there's no rule, there's no right or wrong to that, but staying consistent and kind of knowing what your audience is wanting is something to think about too. And then also responding. So some people, may come to your Facebook page and ask a question. And if you don't respond, whether you didn't see it or you were too busy, that is something that is reflective on you. I always say there's a really fine line between marketing and customer service when it comes to digital, anything digital, because people come to your website and they may want to ask a question, or they may come to your Facebook page and they want to know something. And so if they can't find that, then that turns into a customer service issue, but it's out there because of marketing, right? And it's probably the only marketing out there that it's being able to have that two-way conversation. So really think about that when we're updating our page, and you'll see the reason behind there as we go in the back end here in a minute and make some changes, or I suggest some changes or give you options. And the options are always based on what is going to work for you personally. If you are not a Facebook user and you're not on Facebook every single day, then you need to set some parameters on your page to reflect that, so that it doesn't turn into a customer service issue. And usually when people say, the reason I'm not on Facebook is because I don't want to deal with people bashing me or coming after my business. Well, we know they're going to do that whether you're on social media or not. So while being on social media and being the best you can be on social media, which might mean that you turn off comments and you turn off messaging, at least sets the tone there that people no, okay, well, if I can't comment here and ask a question, then I'm going to have to use another means. I'm going to have to email them or call them or something along those lines. So that's just something to keep in mind as we're updating the page. And we are going to definitely do these 4 quick updates. And if you come to my trainings before, you know these presentations are more for me than they are for you. So I can make sure I don't forget something, because I like to get in there and get into the weeds of stuff and ramble along and probably give you lots of great content, but then sometimes I miss the most important thing. So I'm going to check back and make sure that I've talked about these 4 things, because I think these 4 things are something that you can quickly do if you do nothing else with the update. But we are definitely going to jump into more than that today. And I'm guessing that is why you're here. So we'll make you do that, right? So I've got a couple things up here. Hopefully you can, if at any time you cannot see my screen, please let me know. I'm going to try to make it as not distracting as possible there. I think that's a good term. Get my chat up there, and then I'm going to just jump over to my Facebook page. So this is just, facebook.com. I am logged in. You are at the liberty of seeing who I am connected to, and mostly their babies. Judd is a very cute baby of my hairdresser. And so this is where you land, right? When you log into your personal page, which is how you access your business page. You will see on the left-hand side here that I have some shortcuts, right? Because, there's several ways. I always say there's 100 ways to get someplace on Facebook. I usually try to find the easiest way. That's just me. But sometimes there's a better way. And if you go that way, that's fine as well. But I've created a shortcut so it lands here. Just to give you some ideas, you can go up here to the search bar and you can search, the business name, your business name, and you can hit that. You can also over here on the right-hand side, beside all your notifications here. So I've gotten 6 notifications since I jumped on here. That's a pretty good, 27 minutes. That's pretty good for me. You can go over here and you can see all the different, what they call profiles. And this might be a big thing that you saw, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute, that there has been a big change to pages, and that you could flip between your pages and your personal profile from there. So I'm just going to go to my shortcut because that's the easiest way for me. And like I said, you can follow along, you can watch my thing. And I do have this as its own slide, but I don't know why it keeps showing this, because mine has been converted for quite a while. It wasn't one of the first ones of the ones I'm admin to that got converted, but mine has been converted. So if you have not seen this yet, it is coming. If you have seen this and said, okay, I don't know if I want to review this now, I don't know if I want this to happen. What is happening is they're just updating all the pages, and they're making them feel like they're profiles. And I can show you that, and you're going to go, a couple of people are like, I think I did this wrong because it looks more like a profile. That's what Facebook wants to do. It's trying to make it more personable. There's still some of the great features that we've known and loved still available, but also some new ones. So for some reason, this continues to pop up for me. It's been probably a good month since mine converted, maybe 2. And so I'm just going to say, yes, you'll review that now. So what that's going to do, that's going to kick me into my manage pages. It's going to show me right here, like, hey, you are now logged in as your business, not as yourself. Right up here in this right-hand corner, that will tell you how you're logged in as well. And so if you manage multiple pages, this is something to keep in mind, that you can see this, possibly even see this and be logged in as somebody else and not as the business page. So if you are managing multiple pages, then that's something to consider. But where I'm going to start is the left-hand side here. This is their new settings, I guess you want to call it. You can also go up here and flip between all the other pages that you have access to right here as well. So this is considered your home. This stuff is under your home settings. And of course, it's having your profile here, your landing page, so to speak. You can see that this particular version of it cuts off this top. That's not the case usually when people are on my page as the desktop or mobile. So that's something just to keep in mind, that this might not look exactly, and you're going to need to kind of check it out, whether you're not logged in or on a phone or mobile device. So we're going to start right here with the professional dashboard. So I'm going to click on that. And it's taking me over to very much a dashboard in terms of, dashboard I feel like is defined as something that you can just glance at and you can see what's kind of going there. So in the last 28 days, it's telling me how much my post reach, how much engagement I got, how many new likes I had, just as a glance. And I can go through here and I can see, okay, this is a big, this was a top post. Here's some things that Facebook says I need to do, is that I could probably do some advertising. This is some Q&A because of this change. People are asking some questions. So if you have specific questions about the change itself, or have not seen that or get that in the next few weeks, then you can go over here and check that out. It's going to show our most recent post and how much we are reaching there. It's saying you can easily switch back to yourself, and as well as view your news feed. So each business has its own news feed, which they've had for the longest time, but sometimes it's easy to find depending on the update, and other times it has not been. So a lot of times people say, well, I want to go on to other pages and interact as my page. And I'm like, okay, well, let me send you the link, or here's, it's like a 4-step process. I do think one of the positives with the professional, or the new update, I guess, is that you can access the newsfeed pretty easily, especially on the mobile device. I think it defaults to that. If you switch over, it goes, instead of going to like your page, it goes to your newsfeed. And so I'll show you mine real quick just to show you. So this is the newsfeed. These are pages that I follow as my business. And so if you have nobody on your newsfeed, that means you have not followed anybody. So that might be something good to share here on how to do that. Is, let's say I want to go and I can go up here to the search and I can put Marietta College and I'm going to see this, right? This is their page, and their picture looks very nice there because it's not condensed, and it's showing that I've liked it, but you may get this. That's just the blue button that says like. You can easily hit that. Because you're logged in as your business, that's going to be your like there. If you happen to not be logged in as your business page, you can go over to these 3 dots and you can hit follow settings. And then you can decide how much you want to see that as well. So you want to make sure you are following it in general. The default is just like whatever usual order it is. If you want to make sure that you're seeing something from Marietta College every single time you get on Facebook, you can hit it as favorites. If you're tired of seeing stuff from them, you can snooze them for 30 days, or you can say, yes, I still want to like the page, but I don't want to see posts from them anymore, and turn that off. So with each one of these as well, when it comes to notifications, you can choose that as well. So if you want to be notified every time they post, up to 5 posts a day, you can click on that. If you just want to have it highlighted, that's just, like whenever they, it kind of shows up in the algorithm. And then what was the other one? Off. So you can choose to not be notified at all. And so you can choose that for posts, for videos, for live videos, for offers. You can choose to just unfollow the page and not see any of the things. So once you have it set up the way you want it, you can hit update. So you can easily just hit the like button or go over here and do follow settings. So you could do that for any business person, I think, as well, but business in general. And then that is what will show up in your news feed. So when you go to like it, you are liking it from, oh, I guess I can't, you can see it at the top there. You're liking it from your business page. When you go to comment, again, you're going to see this profile picture here. You're going to like it from, or excuse me, you're going to comment from your business page. Same thing with share. It's going to automatically default. So if I hit share now public, it's going to just automatically push it out without any, any comments from me. If I want to hit share to feed, I can click on that. And again, we're going to see, okay, it's coming from the business. It's public, which, all business pages are public, just to let everybody know. There are some things that you can kind of hide, but for the most part, all your content is going to be public. Say I want to include the original post. That way it comes from Marietta College. It's just not coming from the link. If I undo that, it's just saying that I'm sharing the link. And then I have the opportunity within so many spaces or characters there to write something. And when I do this from this point right here, I have to post it immediately. So if you're wanting to schedule it, it tells us right here, you need to go to the Meta Business Suite, which we're going to talk all about the Meta Business Suite here soon. So I won't go over there quite yet. So that's our news feed. Let me go back to our desktop. And then that's our dashboard, that I guess the middle part or the right hand side stuff, because it takes up that whole thing. And then let's get to this left hand side here. You may see some of this stuff as, okay, I kind of remember this from, you know, updating my settings or when I started my page. And we're going to start like your home page is this one. And then your page, this is where this is, you get your first glimpse. And I've tried everything to try to get it over. See how it's trying to get me to move that. First glimpse into their new settings. I've tried to go here and move it over. If anyone finds out a way to be able to see that, much better. I think it's a Facebook glitch from what I'm reading online. It's a Facebook glitch. This is your page overview. So this is your insights, but just again, as a glance. So a little bit more in depth than what we saw on the dashboard. Then the next one is posts. So again, we can see, and it's actually cutting that off pretty badly as well. We can see each post. I can go in and click on the post and see, you know, exactly, actually more in depth, which is, this is something I usually show in the insights, but it tells us also, and we're going to talk about what these each mean in the last slide, but you know, if you're like, oh, I can't remember what she said impressions were, if you go over this little eye here, it's going to tell you. You just click on it. Average performance of your other posts within 12 hours of publishing. So it's average, it's not killing it, it's not tanking, it's average. Here's the number of total reactions. Other clicks. So other clicks can be, they clicked to, I have my website linked here, or this photo. So sometimes they click on the photos. Oh wait, no, that is the other clicks is the photos, probably the photos, unless I had something else. The link click is actually going to the website. I guess I could hide my own post if I want to. And then also I have the opportunity to boost, which is the paid advertising. So you can see your post at a glance there, and then audience. So this gives us an idea of who we're talking to in terms of content. We'll talk more about this the next time. Like that was not where I wanted to go. I must have clicked something a second time there, so I apologize. Let me click back a couple times and find where I was really looking for. Well, yeah, some of this is okay. I'm just going to keep going because they have moved. There's a page I need to go to which will show some of this, but let's start here and then we'll get to that page. And we may be repeating some stuff because just like there's 100 ways to get someplace, a lot of this stuff lives in other areas and takes us there. So paid online events is a new feature. If you are doing online events, this is an opportunity. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not real sure, is that Facebook will take a little cut of that, but you can do paid online events from Facebook. This is showing just like the events I have, the responses and the people reached, and then it's giving me the opportunity here to create an event, which we're going to talk about here in the next few slides, and then you know, to look at any of the past events. Okay, page access. This is the one that I really want to touch on because this is where you would add your second admin. So you want to make sure that you know, you have multiple admin on here. It's not showing mine for some reason. This could just be a glitch on mine because usually it shows it. Oh, I think, okay. What it's kind of telling me is I would need to see this as a person to be able to see the other people. So let me see if I can switch over there and let you see that. Well, that's not where I want to go. They kicked me completely out. Okay. I may be clicking too fast for Facebook here. Let me, got to get, oh, okay, because, all right. It is not being kind to me. And you can see they still have some stuff to work out, as some of the things are over there and some are not. I'm just going to go completely back to my page so I can show you, and we can kind of start over from there. And you can see it continuously kicks you back into the page. So we are in the professional dashboard, just in case anyone forgets there. And it was not able to back out of that. So let's go back to page access here. So I'm going to show you how to add access, and maybe it'll tell me here where those are hidden. Okay, probably in the Meta Suite, I can show you where you can see who has access. So if you're like, I don't know if anyone has access and you're seeing what I'm seeing, if I forget, which hopefully I will not, remind me to show you that in the Meta Suite. So there's a lot of stuff that's going straight to Meta. And so that's where a lot of times towards the end of this presentation, I will probably tell you, as once you get everything set up and you are creating content, going straight to Meta instead of going to facebook.com is probably going to be your least amount of frustration you're going to have. So let's say you're like, I know I'm the only person with admin rights to my page and I want to just add somebody new. So if I click add new here, it's going to give me some access, some information here, just reminding you of people and their access. And then you can start searching somebody. I was trying to think if you have to be. So I hit Bridget. I just thought of her because she had just texted me this morning. I'm setting up a meeting with her. She's a copywriter. And so first it pulls any Bridget that I'm friends with. And then it starts pulling people that I'm not friends with. So it used to be, and this was, I thought, a really good gatekeeper issue, is that you had to be friends with somebody in order to give them Facebook access. And I will tell you, I've had some clients in the past that whoever had access to the page, they did not want to friend me to add me to the page for whatever reason. And I literally said in a meeting one time, like, you need to friend me so we can add myself to the admin as an admin, but you can literally unfriend me as soon as you add me, and it's not going to change anything. And I think he couldn't unfriend me fast enough. So now they've changed that, which is a little scary, because what if there's another Bridget Poston and I'm not sure which one her picture is and I add the wrong one, where before I would only be able to add the one that I was already friends with. So just be very mindful of this, that your friends are going to show up first, hopefully on there. But if you're not friends with somebody and you're not sure, and they have the same name as somebody else, then you're going to need to be careful not to add somebody that's not the person you think they are. So once you add them, I'm just going to hit her here. It's going to say, okay, what kind of ability do I want her to have? This is what we're saying she can do. She can create content, she can look at ads and insights and all that, but you have the ability to allow that person to have full control. And it's telling you it can remove anyone from the page, including yourself. It can delete the page. So you want to be careful who we toggle this to. If not, then we can just give them access to create content, to see messages, to remove stuff, to look at ads, to look at insights. So we can either give them content, all of this, or we can give them full control. So that is where you would toggle that to make yourself another admin. But again, if you're just wanting to add an editor or something along those lines, which they've gotten rid of those terms a little bit in the last couple of years, then it would be just this stuff, and you would hit give access. They would get a notification, and until they accept that notification, they don't automatically go on your page. So it's always good to either be sitting next to somebody and doing it, or telling somebody you're doing it, so they don't think it's some sort of spam either. Like if I would get a notification I've been added to some random page, and maybe I knew the person, but I still was not told I was going to be added to the page, I would be really hard pressed to hit the click on it and do anything, just because we know there's spammers out there doing that and taking over pages and things like that. So make sure you tell that person that you're doing it. And then once you do that, we'll show you where those people lie. Now you may just want to add somebody that was for admin, people that just have certain task access. You might say task, what's that mean? We'll hit the I button here. Oh, it doesn't tell me there. So let me hit the add new button. This is where it's going to tell me. I'm just going to pick on Bridget again to get to my, or I'll just pick on Brian. I'm seeing him today for lunch. So again, so here is where I can be very specific. So before I had to give Bridget all of this access. If I only want Brian to have content access, I can just give him that or this or 3 out of 5. So just depending on what there, there's no rhyme or rule about how many people have access to your page. Just be mindful, like it doesn't show, like you might see that Brian commented on something, but the audience won't. And so you're going to see who made the comment, but the audience isn't going to know it's from that person. And so if you don't have rules or kind of, I want to say rules, but guidelines that, okay, Brian, we want you to respond to all the comments. And then Bridget, we want you to respond to all the messages. And we don't want Bridget and Brian both to respond to the comments. And we've seen that before where we've had like somebody ask a question and then like there's 2 admins that answer it. And there's been times where they have contradicted themselves. So we don't want that to happen. So if you do have the more people, it's like more cooks in the kitchen, the harder it is to kind of control. So just be mindful of that. You can also revoke access at any time as well. And I will show you that in the business manager. Community managers, this is becoming more common. We see this if you're on TikTok at all, you see that we add community managers. This might be just somebody that is going to always jumps on your live streams, always, support you. And you might just say, hey, would you mind, I have a lot of spammers that come in here, a lot of people that are being negative come in here. As you grow your business, grow your brand, that could happen. Especially if you're selling anything controversial or anything like that. So if you want somebody to do that, you would go to the community manager, and then they wouldn't have access to your page. They would just have access to kind of control what other people are putting on your page. So if you hit get started there, again, it's going to make me type somebody in, maybe. All right, we'll pick on Brian again there. I can enter an email or a name. I can add multiple from here, and then I would hit send invite. So they would get an invite just like we did for the other things here. And then they'd have to accept that in order to have any of those rights. So those are some things here. You may see this too and say, what is business account access? It was prior to Meta, but it was the business suite kind of converted everyone over saying, okay, Kristen owns this page and she is in the business suite, which allows her to run ads and allows her to create content and all the things. So that's just showing that I have access to the page through the business account at this point right here. So over in Meta, I will show you the different types. So I think this is kind of a neat thing, page management history. I don't know when you would need this or go back to, but this just goes to show you, like, every time I've added a intern or anything like that on there. Page quality. So it's going to say if you've ever had an issue with a violation or anything like that. Looks like here's where I can manage my admins as well. So if I click on, oh no, it's taking me, never mind. Not what I wanted. And then monetize. So they're really pushing this monetizing. If you're on TikTok or any of those platforms are monetizing at a lot faster rate than Facebook is. And so if we click on that, oh, something went wrong. Well, I guess we're not clicking on it. So what that will take you to usually is ways you can monetize. So one of those ways is to have an event, an online event that is paid. There are several other ways depending on how much you use your page, what kind of access you have. And obviously it is down, at least for my page right now. So if someone's really interested in that, and you're going to come to another training, remind me in the comments during that training, and I will go back here and you know what, next week it may be fixed. I'm going to just keep going on this list so I don't have to go back to the other list because it does have some of these on here. Advanced messaging. So some of you may have wondered how people are doing automated messaging. So if you're not always around, like, a good rule of thumb is to have an automated message that it's sent to somebody that just says, hey, thanks for reaching out. You can also reach me, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 at this email at this phone number. A lot of times there's some clients of mine that people want to schedule online and they don't do that. So their automated messages like, hey, if you want to make an appointment, please call between the hours of blah, 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 Monday through Friday, at this number. And so that kind of just, it answers the question, but then also moves them onto a platform where you're going to provide better customer service to it. And then I needed to find this because I need to take this mini chats off. I have chat bots that I have played around with. Pre-COVID, they're really taking off, and then they kind of crashed. This is also where you can configure any of those messages that I've talked about. So if we hit that, okay. Oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted. Well, they may have taken that and moved it over to Meta too. Yeah, I will look there. I will look there next. They have moved a lot of stuff. This is where you used to be able to set up all of your away messages and messages that people gave you a good review and all of that. So that is not there anymore. Okay, so if you run any kind of political ads, this is what it's going to say. You have to confirm your identity. I don't know if you will see this. I think that you will, because I've had to do this for running ads, but I don't know if this is on everybody's or not. So you do have to do some different things to confirm that you can run these kind of ads, which is kind of showing that I've done that, I think. Facebook badges. This is stuff that you can do on your own page. You may have seen it on other people's pages, like, hey, they're a top commenter or something along that line. You can take away the badges. It doesn't. There used to be like, I don't know, like some sort of like, I don't want to say incentive for it, but when they first started this. So I have not seen much about badges and the new changes, but that could be something that's coming around that could help with your algorithm and things like that. So as long as it's not hurting you, or you know, if you don't want that, you could turn it off, but for now you could just leave it on. And I'm going to just go back to settings here. Well, maybe. I realize I can't use the back button in the professional setting as much as I would like. I'm a big back button user, so it does not like that. So what else is showing up here in this professional dashboard? We've talked about access, talked about top fans, linked accounts. So if you don't know, Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same people, so you can connect your Instagram account. So if you have an Instagram account, this is where you would go to connect that. I am going to hit the back button just because I want to make sure if that's something like, where did she go? Linked accounts. I'm sorry, linked accounts is what you're going to want to go to link your Instagram account to your Facebook page. That way, when we go over to Meta, it'll be there and you can actually schedule Facebook and Instagram together or separately, but it can all be scheduled from the desktop there. Oh, messaging settings. I bet that's where they moved that. It appears that way. And it's kicking me over to Meta. So here's what Meta looks like. So you may have set this up before and it should have stayed. Mine stayed, even though it's now saying try it, mine has stayed to what I have posted in the past, but it may have looked a little differently. So it's going to say, okay, here's some things that you can do. You can, well, I'm going to go down here. You can create an instant reply. And so that is turned on because it's toggled here. And then it's for Facebook and Instagram is what it's telling me. And then I can hit the edit button so you can see what mine is. And it just says, this is what I've created. And they'll give you a little bit of a, I guess, a guideline. And then you have up to 500 characters and you can actually see it right here, what it is. And so I have mine set to say, hey there, their name. Want to get my latest freebies, visit, join my free Facebook group to keep things all social, linked there. Have another questions, feel free to ask it here. And then I give my email and phone number. It used to be, and I think I had it changed a little bit, It might be another one where it said, I don't always check this, so you can contact me via email or phone number. And I always knew when clients were really serious because they would call me, and then if I didn't answer, they would email me. So you can kind of integrate that. There's some ways to personalize here. You could, add their phone, you could add all this different stuff. Personalization is something that's very trending right now. And then you also use your emojis. So if you want to make it, set the tone with some happy emojis, you can do that. This right here is my Grammarly. So if you're seeing that, that is, and you don't have that on your page, that is what it is. And it's Grammarly is just something that helps me make sure that I am still the typo queen, but not as bad as typical. So I'm going to hit cancel because I'm trying not to hit the back button because I want to go back 100 times, but it's not seeming to let me do that. Okay. So back to automation. So you can also do frequently asked questions. So if you are getting a lot of the same question on your messages, this is a great one. So here's some that I've set up. What are your prices? Do you have any consulting time available? Can I sign up for a social media makeover? And you can add, I don't think we've added maybe even up to 10 for clients before. So if I go to this little pin, that's our edit button, it's going to let me go in here and change stuff. I can do up to 80 characters for the question. And then my message is, personalized. And then to get to my price list sent to your email, please click the button below. And then I can create a button, which is, all I have to do is write the button label in there and then send it to a URL for them to get that price list. Of course, I can add more media, more buttons. Can delete the question or change it at any time. So you can see right here on the right hand side how it kind of comes up, and then people can just hit the ask button and then it'll auto respond with my thing that's already set up. So it kind of helps you. It takes, and this is just on Facebook, it takes that one step out of there that you're not answering the same question over and over. You can have an away message. And I think I did turn this off at the last training because I have the instant reply. But just because I turn it off doesn't mean it deletes it. So I can still go to edit here and I can turn on an away message during certain hours. And I can set those hours based on the times. This might be very helpful to some of you that are getting Facebook messages at all hours of the day. Thanks for the message. We're not here right now. We'll get back to you soon. You could also send them to your website. Like I said, I've just kind of turned mine off and just left it as the instant reply. But you can see that that's what it defaults to. And so you can go in there and change that up to 500 characters, which is pretty good. Again, customization and emojis there. And none of this is permanent. So if you want to play around with it, you're not going to ruin anything. Page recommended, not recommended. So anytime somebody writes you a recommendation and they say they recommend you, you can have a message sent to them automatically, which I just love that concept because you don't want anyone to feel like they wrote something nice about you and you didn't respond. So this makes it look like you responded immediately. And so I hit the edit button here and you can see, thanks for recommending us. We're glad you had a great experience. Very generic. And I think it used to even, it doesn't look like it has one. It used to come with like a little picture of some balloons or something. Oh, there we go. And so you can add, it's not loading. So you can maybe add your own media there. You can add a button. So you might want to say, hey, thanks for recommending us. Would you give us a Google review? Depending on your business and what your goals are, you can really integrate those things. There's one for if they do not leave you a very nice review, you can do that. Contact information. This is a good one that I would definitely turn on is, making sure people can get a hold of you. Visit my website as a button, that kind of thing. And so that way, if they're looking to ask you a question and it's important and time sensitive, they can have your contact information there. Positive feedback. I think I just turned that off. It was like a follow-up thing. I can hit on it there if you guys are interested there. We're glad you had a positive experience. Yeah, I think it was similar to the page recommendation. So I just turned it off. So again, you don't have to have all these on. You don't have to have all these off. You could say, I don't really want automation. You can turn it all off. And I'm also going to show you where you can turn off your messages in general. I have a doctor that I work with that we turn off the messages because too many people were giving me social security numbers online. So I just went to create automation. And so if you're like, okay, maybe you didn't have that list because you hadn't done them yet, here is where you can go through and you can see maybe location is a big one. I know this has been a big one for clients of mine because people are like, where are you located? That is a huge question they get asked all the time. And so you can actually set this up to be, directions essentially. So that way, you could set this up and say, hey, click here, take them to Google directions, something along those lines. Or you could give them, verbal directions, because I have clients that Google or their address does not take them the right places. Let's see what else is here that might be interesting. Contact that we haven't talked about. Hours. So again, that doesn't really pertain to me, so I'll have that turned on, but maybe that's a huge question you get. What hours are you open? So you can set that up. Keywords, sometimes people, and it goes both ways, either for customer service or to get rid of spammers. If there's certain keywords they use, it will take them someplace versus another place. If they use a specific hashtag, it's really limitless of what you can do. This one I think would be a really good one for like a contest, like message us with this hashtag to enter our contest. That way too, now you can have a two-way conversation, because as a business, you can't message a person, but if a person messages you first, you can now message them. So that would be a good one to use there. I guess if you're having trouble figuring out if you had answered a message or not, there's multiple people answering messages, this might be something you want to set up. Job application confirmation, follow-ups. So there's a lot of follow-ups, like appointment reminders. Maybe you do take online appointments. So those kinds of things can all be done through this automation, which is just essentially through the messaging. I don't know if it's gonna, having a hard time using the back button. Let's go. This was a lot easier when it was all in one spot, right? So this is one of the things that are, but once we go over to Meta, I think you will understand why they are doing that. So we're back to the professional dashboard. Sorry, I have to keep clicking in and out of stuff. That is one of the downfalls there. Business apps. We'll click on that. It's taking us back. I was like, didn't even need to go there. It's taking me back to Meta. So there are a lot of programs that have partnered with Facebook. So if this, sometimes people in the room, this is really prevalent to them, and other times it's not. So if you use any of these apps, maybe some of our restaurants do, it's honestly not a lot of stuff that I have seen that locally anyway. So this may or may not pertain to you, but if they already have, and there's a see all, so I may not be seeing all of them. If any of these, Canva is one that we use a lot. You can start integrating these into your business. So if I hit Canva here, move some stuff around. Okay, open app. So it's just going to pop me over to essentially Canva. And so they're just recommending you using Canva. Now I do, and I hope this happens. I shouldn't even tell you guys because you'll be jealous. I have a client that uses a CRM, which is a content management system, that integrates with Canva. So you literally can like write your post and then hit find in Canva, and you could create right from there. Or if you've already created something in Canva, you don't have to download it first and like re-upload it. You can just open your Canva and then select it. So it does take a couple steps out, which would be really nice if that was going to happen with Facebook, because I know there's a lot of Canva users out there, and it's like if you're not familiar, it's like a graphics program. There's a free program and paid as well. So again, just kind of scrolling through here, like Amazon sellers, this might be good for lead ads. It gets pretty in the weeds, kind of higher level stuff, but just something to realize that there are, especially if you're like maybe a restaurant, there are ways to have a reservation and things. I'm feeling like I just need to take you to the Meta because I keep getting kicked there. But there's a few more things I want to show here. Jobs, some people have had really good results with this, and other people have gotten not so great applicants. I think it depends on your level of job posting. I won't get into what I think works and what I don't, but if you want to know, you can message me and I can tell you. Also, you can access your ad center here, invite friends to follow. I'm going to show, well, I have a slide that shows this, but we can go ahead and look at this because this is a big one. Once you, I feel like, and we'll have to do some more updating when we go over to Meta, but once you feel like your page is like ready to go, then that's the time where you would invite your friends to follow. So you can invite anybody you're connected to. And what it's telling you is that you don't have friends as the business page, but you have friends as your personal page. So we're going to have you switch over, and then we're going to let you invite those people. So we're doing a little switcheroo here. You can see, oh, it keeps, see, I wonder if it was going to let me do this. I'm going to have to probably show it to you the other way because it keeps this. Okay, it is. Okay. The whole review thing, I'm like, they got to get rid of that. It's been under review for a long time. So this is showing the 964 people that I have not invited to my page, basically people I went to high school with that don't really care what I do for a living. And I can go through, and she might want to know what I do for a living. I can click on that and I can hit send invite. I can see everyone that I've invited that haven't accepted. I just did this. I was in here doing the update, making sure that I could still invite friends the way that we do. And so I went through and invited some people. So that could be it. Or people are just not going to accept the invitation or don't see it because of their notifications. You can do all friends and then any kind of group or anything you're in. So maybe I'm like, oh, I want to definitely make sure everyone that I'm in the sports small business for is in there. Well, I don't have any friends in that one, but no friends in that one. Mid-Ohio Valley nonprofits. There we go. So, oh yeah, all the Mid-Ohio Valley nonprofits should like my page if they're in there. So I could go in here and I could hit select all. So a lot of times people say, oh, I have to go in there and individually invite everybody. This is a little trick you can use. You can use your groups you're in. I think it's mainly groups. Sometimes they have events depending. So it's mainly groups. I'm in a lot of groups. Wow. I'm in a lot more groups than I know. I feel like I have a lot of these groups hidden, I feel like. So yes, you can go through all your groups, and then once you click on them, you can select all and invite them. So I'm just going to hit invites. Again, I don't know. You're seeing my pain here. And I think it is time. Let me, oh, no, it's not, because I'm going to go back to my presentation and forget the two things, my short list, because I get so much into it. So some things that are very right in our face is this cover photo. If you click on it, it's giving you the big version of it here. You can change this out. A couple of best practices, which again, I'm not practicing what I preach at this point, but you can, oh, it's not going to let me. Let me get logged back in as, yeah. I wonder if they knew doing this update would make trainings longer because I have to click so much. It used to just be in one spot. Let me get back to, I mean, think a couple more flips, it would, there we go. Get me back into, no, I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this the manual way. Where am I? I have access to way too many pages, huh? Well, come on. I want to go on that page. I want to show you one more thing. That's just me typing in directly into the URL. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm in. I think we're not. I don't think I am. Crap. And I promise you, I've never had this much trouble going back and forth before. Of course, it's during a training, but I do use, I don't know why it will not. Where is my brand? Won't let me find the page I need. I was going to say every other time it's flipped me through. All right, fingers crossed. I'm in. Okay, so now we have the big edit cover photo page. So at any time you can change this. I recommend changing it out based on what you're talking about on your page. So, some people change it out based on the season. Some people change it based on the products. With the holidays coming, not a bad idea to change it. You could change it as much as you want or as little as you want. It does show up in the news feed, which is great. You can select a photo that you've already uploaded, or you can upload something. And then when you click on it, there we go. You can actually, like something I should do, which I'll do right now, and is put your website in there or put something in there. So if you are putting a product up here, maybe you say, hey, buy this product here, and directly link them to the page. The other piece of real estate that's nice is this profile picture. If I click the little picture here, it's going to say you can update it. It's going to give me all kinds of options. I can add a frame depending on, what my feelings of stuff are. I can move it around. It doesn't have to be a picture of you. I do that. If it's a business that has a brick and mortar, I will do that. A logo does really well there. There's no right or wrong. But again, you can change it out. And the more you change it out, the more people are going to see it. And people respond to that kind of stuff pretty well. This is called your intro. Used to be your short description. It's very short. You can see I have 3 characters remaining, but you can write something there. That is really good for SEO. So if you Google your business name, most likely your Facebook page will come up in that first 5 or 6 that come up. And so that will help that move up. That will help if you have a name similar to somebody else's. Then that will help you move up in the Google rankings as well. Of course, your page is public. You can choose what kind of page you have. Not there. There we go. I was like, where did they move this? Edit details. So you can change your category here. You can add your phone number, email. If you have a physical address, I would put it there just because that does turn blue and people can click on it. And you can add your service area. So maybe you don't have a physical location, but you serve a certain area. So you can always switch those out. I keep mine always open, but this is where you would put your hours. You can put your price range or not. So any of these toggles you can turn on. The reviews are really weird. And right now they're super weird. You either have to turn all the reviews on or turn them all off. So even if you get some bad reviews, which I have 2 spam reviews that I keep reporting, you would have to turn them all off. It does not. And from what I've, and the link to the reviews are not working because it came up as a dead link on my website because I had it directly sent to my 62 reviews. And so now there is not a link. So I assume that's why I can't toggle that on and off because they are doing some updating to it. Again, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, that'll change. And if you have a pressing question about reviews, and linking them or whatever the case may be, let me know at another training and I will check into it and see if it's available. And then, because it doesn't have the pin either. And then you can add diversity information here just by hitting the edit button, and it takes you into more of what this appears to me like is a profile, right? They've changed some stuff. You can add some more things here. You can add as little or as much as you want to. What's confusing is when it's a business and you're going, okay, why would I talk about my life events in a business? So it's trying to make you be more transparent and authentic. So you can add as much or as little as you want. You can add your gender or whatever you want to do. Here are at least the one that, the 2 that I've been trying to take down. And then even has an opportunity to put services here, which I have not seen come across the top. That has been very limited lately. So that might be changing. You can see all your followers. You can see who you're following. And you can see all your likes of those people that you follow. Of course, your photos, all of that is there as well. You can add a hobby, add a feature here. So make sure, username. Okay, so up here, there's another edit button and there's another manage button. So let's go with the edit button first. gives you quick access to all of the things, so you can have them all in one spot. This probably looks a lot better than how I got there. And you can also, oh, sorry, it's hitting right where the zoom is. Takes me back to where we were at. Then manage takes us into that professional dashboard. And I am not seeing the create username. Well, the 3 dots, let's look here. So I don't even have my username up here. I wonder if that's down, because I'm like, I'm not seeing the create username, and I just created a username for somebody last week and it was right here. Okay, so the good news is I wanted to point this out because I saw this yesterday and I was hoping it was still around. I actually went and looked for it yesterday on purpose. Is that if you hate this version, which I'm starting to, I didn't care before, and then I started to, this is my first training in it, and I'm starting to go, well, you can't use the back button. There's a lot of things. You can switch over to the classic pages. So if I go ahead and hit switch over to classic pages, content you shared on your updated page won't move. Oh, okay. So maybe I don't want to do that. If you've shared a lot, if you have not been sharing stuff, you can, yeah, I'm not going to do that because I don't want things to go away that I just shared. But if you have not done a lot of updating, you can always go back to that. And that used to not be the case. I should have hit that yesterday. It used to just take us back. There was a point where at one point you couldn't go back anymore from another update. So usually that kind of stuff is hidden under these 3 dots. So if you can't find it anywhere else, that's where it's at. What I'm not seeing right here, but if you go to my page on your mobile device, you will see what they call an action button. And it's like this little blue button that's usually underneath the photo, and you can edit that action button right there. And so right now mine goes to Messenger. So I can hit change button and say, well, I want it to go to book now, or I want it to go to start an order, or call now, or contact us, and go to your website. You can also link a video and all of that there. You can invite friends from here. You can choose if you want pages to be able to tag you. I have everything open, but if you have some issues with this, some spammers, depending on your industry, you might, this is where you could go in and turn some stuff on and off, which would be good. And then you can also see what your page looks like once you do that. So there's a little bit more privacy with the new update. Let's see what else under here. You can do a tour to kind of see what you're doing, you know, what you may have missed. Activity log is like things that you've done. If you've done any stories, which you can see the blue around my picture there, that means I've done a story recently. So I can go back and look at that. I can search my profile, which I think is really great, because I might say, you know what, I had a really great Halloween post last year. I want to find that. So I can go to search and hit Halloween, and that will come up. I can view as an outsider to see, to say, okay, is that really going to cut that off? I can choose to see that. And I know that it's only cutting off because it's in the automation here. And then I think this manage will probably take us back to, yeah, it's just taking us back to the professional settings there. So that was a lot. There's a lot of updates. I don't think that this is going to stay this way forever. I think there's going to be more updates and other things, but if you're working on this in the next couple of weeks, which I hope you are, what happened to my thing? Another thing I just wanted to mention is if you're having a hard time having your profile photo fit into the circle, it's called Square Ready. I know it's a circle and not a square, but it will help you shrink it down into using that. It is just an app right now, and you can see it's kind of spelled funny. So note that there's no double E in there, and it kind of puts the 2 words together. But that is something to use in case you're like, well, you know what, my profile picture is all cut off and it's, you know, I can't get it to adjust within Facebook. The username, we will have to come back to that. I am not sure where that went. That was there last week. And it was something I did not look at yesterday when I was looking at a couple things I wanted to make sure. So we will have to look into that and hope that that comes back. That is like your URL. So you can go to my page by just going to facebook.com/WV social media. And if you've created this in the past, it should work fine. But if you have not created a username, then this is something we'll have to kind of look at. And you may get prompted if you don't have one. And because I have one, it's not prompting me yet. You can change this, but it is, you know, a URL. It is your website, so you can't have it the same as somebody else's. Make sure, I'm just making sure I've covered all this. Yeah. Okay. So this is the thing we saw, which I was hoping it would be gone away by then. And I would be just showing you the screenshot, but you've seen enough of that. And then this is what I'm talking about when we go to the professional tools. So you can see that. Wanted to make sure you had all that. Now, even though we've been kicked over there a few times, it is time to talk about the Meta Business Suite, which if you've ever heard of Business Manager, Creator Studio, Business Pages, that all now is Meta Business Suite. So you can find that right now, which I'm waiting for them to change this to something with Meta. Right now, you can find it at business.facebook.com. And why do you want to go there? Well, first, it kicks us there all the time. And second, you can schedule posts there, which is like the most important part after you get everything set up, is to utilize it. And we're probably going to use it when we can sit down and schedule a few posts for the week and then not have to get back on social media and deal with it every single day, because most of the time it's not going to be your full-time job. You can also, has a nice planner, so it can shows you like the days of the week, and it even gives you some insights on some national days coming up. Insights in general. I sat through a Google training a few weeks ago where she said something that really stuck to me is you should be using your insights to make future marketing decisions. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I should. And you do to a point, but to put that top of mind. So I want to make sure I point that out. Plus, they shouldn't be. They weren't as of like a day ago when I was pulling insights for a client. They're not cut off in Business Suite, so you can actually see the entire insights. There is an app, and I put apps because there used to be. I need to take the S off there. There's now just one app. Essentially, there's the Facebook app that you guys probably have as profiles that you can get to your pages through that. But if you want to go directly to your pages and have some of this access, like scheduled post and being able to see things that are scheduled in the planner, see some insights, you want to download the Business Suite app. And it's blue. It has like this like clocky looking thing on it. It is free. It is in your app store for any phone that you have. I have not ran into anyone that could not download this that wanted to. So this is, again, one of those screenshot screens, but you will have this in your email blast as well. So we are going to go over to business.facebook.com and check it out. And so always check, and it doesn't change it up there. It stays that business.facebook.com. Now, I think as long as you're logged in, it should automatically do it. You may have to log in, and you would be logging into your own personal account because, again, remember, everything is kind of drawn back to that. You do not have a username or password for your business account. It's all through your personal. I've already connected my LinkedIn, or excuse me, Instagram. There we go. I've already connected my Instagram. And so it is showing up both of those there. So I'm going to walk you through some of this back end stuff. This is your dashboard. There's several places where you can create a post. You can even schedule stories. So if you're getting into the stories, which is that top right here, these are stories. You can schedule those. You can create an ad from here. You can set up goals. If you want to, try to increase the views on your page, that could be a goal. You can look at your top comments for your post. You can look at your insights, kind of like what we did over in Facebook, at a glance. You can see your most recent post and how they're doing. I think I must have had something scheduled as we were talking. No, that says the 13th. Today's 14th. You can see some of the new updates. So there's now a chat plugin, which has moved to the inbox. See, I was not crazy. It was not there before. It has just happened. Oh, I guess it says June, but it just happened for me. And that's another thing if you've not experienced a lot in Facebook, realizing that, and I should have said this at the beginning. So if you are very confused that yours does not look like mine, it is all updated at different times. So I might have something that you don't, or you might say, yeah, I have that. It's right there. And you're like, okay, I don't see it on Kristen's, so there is that, going on as well. You can see your recent stories. Here's a glance at your planner. So it's showing your stories and your post 1 week at a time, your recent ads. I had a pretty good ad that I think propelled my overall reach pretty well. I still get ads rejected sometimes if I forget to toggle something. It's telling you place to invite your friends. So it has a lot of similarities to what we saw before. Pages you may share, it's giving you some content, posts that are similar, businesses, just giving you some ideas. The next thing here on the left-hand side, because that's your home page, here's your notifications. So anytime somebody, commented, you will see that. Your inbox, that's your messaging where we were at before, but this is actually the messages between you and whoever. So I had an ad running for a message, so that worked. Any messages I have are here. I probably should clean that up a little bit. I can also connect to my Instagram messages. So if you want to, see that all in one spot, your comments are here, Instagram comments, and then if you have a chat plugin. Post and stories, this is one of my favorite features. That's why I put in their scheduled post, is that you can see all of your posts. You can see everything that's scheduled. I've been trying to be a good girl. I've got a lot going on this fall, so I'm trying to schedule posts as I can. And then drafts. So some people will write things, and again, I have a lot of drafts of my client stuff. I'll write posts that stuff that you would talk about, and we'll talk about this next week and on Facebook too, is that content you would consistently share. Maybe it's hours, maybe it's like some way to access something. You could put that in your drafts, and then anytime you wanted to put, you like, what am I going to post? You can go over your drafts, get inspired, copy and paste, and do that. Again, there's a create post. Click here, which let me see how we're doing on time. Oh yeah, we're good. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through that. So hit create post here, and you can toggle here to say, I want it to go on Facebook and Instagram. What I love about this is you can customize it. So, on Instagram, I know this is not Instagram training, but just a little tidbit is that you can't put links on Instagram posts because they're not clickable. I mean, you can put them on there, but there's not going to be clickable. So on Instagram, you might say, go check out the link on my bio, which I have heard that there's multiple links coming to Instagram, which is exciting. And then on Facebook, you can actually put the link there because it's clickable, and it will automate, or it will populate it. There we go. So you can customize those and toggle between the two, but they would both be able to be scheduled, and they don't even have to be scheduled at the same time. Look at that. You can schedule one for today and one for tomorrow. It gives you optimal time. So this is based on your audience and when they're online. So it is telling me the next 3 days at 7 p.m. are good. Sometimes I've seen things that I don't agree with, but I always go back to, they're looking at your insights. Again, making marketing decisions based on your insights. So just because it doesn't seem normal, it's probably worth trying out to see. You can also add photos, you can add videos, you can use a template, which I was going to say Vimeo, that's how you say it. Has video templates you can use, another integration with Facebook there. So as you're typing stuff, as you are uploading stuff, you can see it here, and you can see how it's going to look on Instagram and Facebook. So making sure it looks good. And then you'd hit the schedule button. And once you have it scheduled, it's going to show up. Let's see how I get there. Can't close. Sorry, the Zoom thing's right in my way. You can come back over here and see it under your scheduled. So at any time you can go in here and you can click on it. You can edit it. So again, we're going back to those three dots there. You can edit it, you can duplicate it. So maybe you're like, this is going to be awesome, I want to duplicate it and put it out there again. You can reschedule it, you can move it to drafts if you're not ready to post it right now, or you can delete it, just say it's not pertains to me anymore, I'm not going to put it out there. Stories are the same way. You're going to see what's active, what's scheduled. Archived is past stories. Stories last about 24 hours, so they would go in the archives after that. Actually, I probably could show you. Let me hit create story there. So this is how you would schedule and create a story. So all stories require media, so you would have to have something already in your desktop. Canva.com, which I would say most of you are familiar with, but I'll put that in the chat, is a great place. They have templates for Instagram and Facebook stories. We're kind of getting into the weeds of scheduling, but that's, or content, but that's a good one to always know. So you can kind of see how those are doing. Feed and grid, just showing you what it, when like you can actually see like who liked it, who shared it. You know, you can see it in that form, the grid form. You can see your Instagram. This is what my Instagram looks like. Without even, look at that, even lets me scroll over without going into Instagram. I can see my last few posts. Facebook photos, just where they all live, in case you're needing that. Any A/B tests, this is kind of higher level stuff, but you can actually create A/B test of posts and stories and see which ones work, which ones get more likes, all of that. And then if you were ever tagged or mentioned in somebody else's post, this is where that goes to live. So I went I did this training and somebody from Discovery World came. So they took a picture of it and posted to Discovery World and then tagged me in it. I think that's my photographer, you know, that kind of thing. So anything that I've commented, a lot of this is stuff I've commented on and they've tagged me back to thank me or answer my question. So you can kind of see any of that. Good place to kind of see where you're coming from. This is what we call user generated content, a good for resharing as well. If you have a commerce site, which you may or may not, and if you do, let me know, because that is something we played around with, of doing a whole training just on how to sell. We talk a little bit about it in several trainings, but you know, if you do have a commerce site, obviously I do not, but if you do and want to learn more, that is something we can do. And here's the planner. I love a good content calendar. And instead of having one separately, you can do one right here and you can see all my things. And I have a lot of stuff, so don't be too scared of that. I launched a new program this week and started a live course this week. So I have a lot going on this week. Typically it would not be that full. On the right-hand side here, you can see what they call moments, which are like upcoming events, essentially. October, just reminding you of like things that are happening that you can schedule a post around. Which is always good to keep in your mind, because stuff that's nationally trending. Ads, which you're going to skip, but if you do any ads, you can do that. And then let's skip over to insights. And then I'm going to go back to events. But I want to show you this now that I'm here. This is at a glance what it looks like. And then I can go through here and I can look at all the different things. So I can see my reach, I can see my audience, I can see, who they are, who am I really talking to, where they're located, feedback. It's just saying if I have any ranking stuff. Sometimes if you get, I don't know, maybe flagged for doing inappropriate stuff, it would come here. Benchmarking, how do you compare to other businesses like yours? I don't think a lot of these businesses are like mine, but close enough. But you can add those in there. And then you can kind of just get an overview of the content, what it looks like people love images the most, albums are doing well, how are things going from the last 90 days, summer's kind of slow, which are performing. So you can kind of look at that, and then that helps you make decisions about content later on, which that's not showing anything. Could be the days. I don't know what that is. So now I want to, for time's sake, go back over and make sure I hit events and show you that. But then if we do have some time, I'm going to come back and show you this all tools thing, because it's pretty cool, but there's a lot. And a lot of it's duplicated from other places, but it's kind of like where some of that stuff we saw before is being pushed over into the business suite. We talked about inviting friends. We were able to do that. Okay, so let's talk about events. I really do think that I needed to take a drink. Hold on a second. Before I lose my voice. This is definitely one of those jam-packed trainings. That events can be very helpful to people. And you may say, okay, I don't really have events. How can you use events? How can you, kind of think about what is an event in your business? So could it be a sale? Could it be an actual brick and mortar event? Could it be an online event? So once you decide to have an event, here's some things that you want to kind of have in place prior to going over to Facebook and opening the create event button. Think about a good graphic, or have a good graphic or photo to use for the cover of the event. Canva is another great place to go. If you don't have any of that, you can create something there. It also, if you want to put your photo into the right size so it doesn't get cut off, that's a good place for it. You want to think of a short, clear, concise name for the event. It will tell you if you've made it too long. It is limited, but it also says this is not going to be a good event name. So going in with one already, we'll take that step out. And then think about what you're going to write in your description. Probably the worst thing is just when I see a TBA in the description, because they do make you write something. So think about the who, what, when, where, and why, and make sure you spell it out. Like, who is this really for? What is it? When is it? Where is it? Why? All of those things. And then if it is necessary to have a ticket, whether it's a free event or not, you want to make sure you have that stuff set up, that there is a link there that they can click. So sometimes like Eventbrite, even if you're having a free event, but you just want to know how many people are coming, that's always a good place to do that. So if you're like, how in the world do I even get to events? And I put the link there because it does, like I said, I was searching yesterday. So there are some different places to go. This will take you to your events. Now, yesterday when I checked it, it did not have a create event button on it. Yours could have the create event button. So all you would do is facebook.com/your username/events, and it would take them to yours. But how we're going to get there is something that we've seen before already. I may have spelled that. Did I spell that out here? Yes. So let me pull this one up and then we'll go back over there. So just a couple things. Make sure you are logged in as your page, because if you're not going to see this access. You are going to go to the professional dashboard, which is where we've lived a little bit. Then you're going to click on events, which is under the tools here. And then this little thing comes up. Oh, that must be a part of that one. I should have cropped that out. I'm confusing myself. This part comes up and you're going to have to scroll down to see this blue button that says create event. So now that we know where we're going, I'm getting into the right one. There we go. Get to the right thing here. I'm going to go to professional dashboard. I'm going to go to events. And then I'm going to scroll down to create event. And so this change that's happened over the last couple of years is saying, is your event online or in person? So depending on how you change it, and I think I have yes, I think I was trying to clear cut it as much as possible. Depending on what you choose. If you choose online, it's going to go directly to general or class. So general is just like it's an online thing. You might have a link to a Zoom or something like that. A class, you're going to actually schedule a live and interact with the class all via Facebook, whether it's paid or unpaid. If you choose in person, it's going to go directly to this. This is where we're going to go next. If you, depending on which, after you choose which one of these, it's going to take you to something that looks very similar to this. So if you get to think, okay, I want to do a live class, and you have any questions and there's something that does not look like what I've showed you today, let me know. There's a couple different things, but probably not enough people that would be doing a live class. And for time's sake, we'll just stick to a general event. So we're going to say an in-person event. It's going to kick us over here to the main part, which is the stuff I've told you to prepare for, which is the event name. You have 100 characters and you want to keep it concise so people know what it is. You have a start date and time. If you do not choose an end date, it will automatically go for 3 hours. This is not an issue sometimes unless you're trying to do a workout class and it defaults for 3 hours. And I can tell you the amount of people that aren't going to come to a workout class for 3 hours. So be very mindful to change that if it's only an hour, if it's 2 hours. I think 3 is kind of odd. Like I would think they would default to an hour or 2 hours, but they do not. If this is a reoccurring event, you can choose this and you can choose the dates and times it's reoccurring. So you don't have to create an event for every session you have. all events under the business are going to be public. So that's something to keep in mind. If you want to do a private event, you will need to do that on your business profile page. Description, that's your who, what, when, where, why. Keep that as, put as much information as you can. We all know people do not read, but it's at least there. At least if they're trying, you can do that. You can put a link in there if you want. There is clickable. It is going to make you choose a category, and you might say, okay, none of these are mine. I think there's an other down here, or maybe not. No. So you just choose something that's close to it. So in the business world, I usually choose networking, which I don't see. I could be professional networking. There we go. So I might choose that one. And then you can add keywords. So this is saying like how, if we use keywords, who should we present this event to? You might see on your personal Facebook, this event is something looks like you would be interested in. This is how they get that way, by adding those keywords. So play around with those keywords. And then I'm gonna have to write something in here to go to the next thing. Whoops. Okay. All right. What else? Oh, I have to pick a category. Okay. Now I can hit next. And you can see it's populating as you're doing it. And don't worry, we can still change some stuff. The next button is location. So if it's a brick and mortar, you can actually, and it'll default here. We'll say it's at the Blennerhassett Hotel just for sake, but you can find your page that makes that interactive and linking there. Here is where you can change out your photo. So you could upload a new cover photo here. Admissions. So here's where you would, if you have tickets, you can add that and save it. And then event settings is where they hide some good stuff. So if you are co-hosting this event with another page, an admin, a follower, you can start typing their name in here. So maybe I'm co-hosting it with the Blennerhassett Island State Park. I'm just whatever comes up first. I'm not going to save this or send it to them, or they would be confused. You can also show the guest list or not. I like to show the guest list because I'm more likely to be like, oh, if they're going, then I'm going to go. Or I might message that person and say, are you going to go? Because I'm going to go too. Only hosts can post in the event. This is a good one if you are not going to be able to check into this event. If you're creating this event and you are so busy manning your event and you don't have anybody to just solely focus on the social media part of this event, then I would definitely keep that turned on. If you want to turn it off, you can. There's a couple things that are going to happen. One, you're going to get questions, hopefully, or you possibly could get spammers. If you have a ticketed event, people, as it gets closer, will start spamming the event and saying, hey, I have tickets I can't use. I'm selling them. And they're scamming people. So that is another reason why people turn that off, that only the host can post in the event. This means you can put updates into the event. You can, schedule comments or posts within the event, which is great because if there's updates, then anyone that marked interested or going to the event will get those. Or you can also turn that off and then turn this on, which is post must be approved by host. So you can have that other people can post, but nothing's going to show up on the page unless you approve it. That gets you to know also that somebody posted in there. So if you have a hard time, and it's happened to me before, I've missed it. I haven't got the notification. And so I will turn this on just so I get an extra notification that somebody is trying to post a comment or a question. Then I can choose to approve it and then answer the question. And it's been brought to my attention. So once we feel good with that, we hit save and then we're done, right? That's easy as that. You can save as a draft and then that will show up. Hopefully it'll kick me to where it shows up. I haven't done save as a draft in a while. That is an option that has come and gone. So you can save as a draft. You used to be able to schedule them and I don't see that as an option. It is going to tell me, especially in the drafts, you don't have a cover photo, you don't have any discussion, maybe you should do that. It's showing the map, which is nice, especially if it's an event someplace that's not your typical store. You can also, it's giving you the, hey, why don't you go ahead and share this to one of these groups you're in. And then it is saying you are the host, so you're going to be showing up as the host. You can edit it from here. You can delete the event. You can see any discussion, which there shouldn't be any if there's, I'm like wondering where it's taking me. If it's in a draft, I just confused itself there. There's one other thing I want to show you. did I mess it up? Let me go back quickly here. And this I wanted to show you in an already an event anyway. But here's my upcoming draft events here. Today at 11. Oh, maybe. There we go. I can hit the publish event here. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And then I want to show you something. So once your event is out there, not posting. Okay. So here's a past event that I hosted. I can go in here and I can see insights, which is pretty cool. And then I can also, it's not showing. Okay, I want to show you this stuff too, but it's not showing me what I want to see. This is the actual link to the invite. So what we run into a lot, if you're on any boards or, with anybody that's maybe not a Facebook user, but they want to see this event or we want to send them to them, I will take that link and I will text it to people or send it in an email. Because it is public, they do not have to be logged in to see it. So then they can still get the who, what, when, where, and why. They can't really RSVP. We know RSVPs on events aren't the best anyway. We can actually add this to a page. So if I'm working with the Appalachian Coalition, I can add it to their page. At this point, because it's over, I can export the guest list. So I can hit this and I can see, we'll see, let's say I don't have a CSV. So it's going to tell me who was invited. So it's showing their names. So I can use that for whatever purposes, which I don't know if you guys were able to see that or not, because it popped me out of there. But there is a place, I'm going to try to find it here. And I think I might have to go to the SBDC site. I wanted to show you how to invite people, because it's really great to be able to have an event, but you got to be able to invite people as well. And usually I use the SBDC site as my guinea pig here, but I did not today, just because I was having such a rough time figuring out where events are, where everything is. I think I'm gonna have to switch over to their account as well, because I'm not seeing the events because of that. Let's hope this works here. I'm like, I think I hit the right thing. Okay, I'm gonna go to events. I want to show you. Okay, so this is happening now, which I think will work. Well, this is a predicament, because I can't get to events if I'm logged in as myself, but I can't, I can't invite people until I'm logged in myself. So yes, this is a nice thing to have. So let's just say, let's just use this event as an example, because I'm logged in as myself. I'm going to go to Paddlefest. It should be very fun. I marked I'm going. So this is what the goal is. We want people to mark they're going or they are interested. And then it's going to say visible to the host and friends. Most people have this set up as their own privacy settings, and mine is showing, yes, my friends can see I'm going. Or I can change that if it's some event I want anyone to know I'm going to. But here is the button I'm looking for. So here is something that once you create your event, you may have to go in as yourself, and you're going to hit invite. You're going to see all your friends. And here is where you can see other group events. So maybe you had a similar event. So this event is, let's say, similar to this masterclass I had. And again, I can hit select all. It's going to let me invite up to 500 people, which is amazing, right? So definitely if it's a online event, that's good. If it's a event for 20 people, maybe not, but you can go through and you can choose from your groups or choose from people, or if you're looking for certain people. I did this the other day with a friend, like I wanted to send her something. So I went up to search and typed her name in and just sent it directly to her. My bad thing is she acted like she never got the notification, but she probably gets, because she's like, I never saw the event. And I was like, oh, I wonder how that came. So just be mindful of that. You can also send it as a message, or you could copy the link and send it as a message, or you could share it right here. Yeah. share button there and send it as a message. Just be mindful of that kind of stuff. Again, you know, like you'll have to let me know. I'm going to convert some of I usually go into the SBDCs and invite people to the event that I've taken, or invite people to the trainings I've taken. So I will be playing around with that in the next few weeks as we have several trainings coming up. So I will, if I run into anything or there's a secret roundabout way of doing it that I wasn't able to show you today, or it changes, I will let you all know. So let me go back to my presentation. We've got just a few minutes left here today. We jam-packed today's training. Just some things to remember. Create an event, you got to invite friends. You want to share it to your business page. So use that little share button. You want to mark going because, again, your friends will see that. In the event, you want to post updates. So you could do question and answers. You could go live. You could do a video. You could create a poll. You can just post an update. You can add a photo. Utilize that, especially leading up to the event. That is going to be the best effort for you creating this event, is interacting it. I did want to just mention this. We looked at insights a lot today. Showing you where you can find those because we were all over the place with that. But what does this stuff mean? So reach is our total number of people that see our posts. Now, it could be them scrolling very quickly by it. Doesn't mean they did anything with the post, but they saw it, or it showed up in their news feed is probably a better way of saying it. Clicks. I showed you that one that differentiated between clicks to the website and then other clicks. So other clicks are usually pictures or something like that they've clicked on to make it bigger so they could see it. Sometimes just I tell people love to touch their phone. So anything they will click on, they will. Demographics. This will tell you who you need to be writing for. So if you think, well, we sell to mostly men and you're on Facebook and you have a mostly female following, then really consider that when you're doing your messaging. And then you can see what posts have worked in the past. So if you've not posted anything for a while, a big thing, a challenge for you to do is to post some things consistently for a week or two, then go back into these insights and see what has worked, and use variety. So don't always use a video, don't always use a photo, don't always use an article, don't always just share something of somebody else's. Use all of those things and then go back and see. So now we're finishing up. We're going to recap here in the last few minutes. Big thing is just going through. I know it's very confusing today, and I do apologize for that. I feel like I did the best I could with what Facebook has given me. So I'd say your best bet is to maybe go over to Meta and try to do some of the updates there. And what you can't do, then go back over to your page. You may have better luck on the mobile device. I would say mobile's kind of like the last one to get the big updates. So it's still pretty user friendly. If you can work from your phone or your sometimes tablets aren't as good, but from your phone, if you can work from your phone, you may not have as much frustration as I did today, flipping back and forth. And if you like the back button, I would stop liking that because it doesn't like it. Then make sure your business suite, I even had Creator Studio here still, I need to change that, but mainly your Meta Business Suite is set up. I think it's going to automatically default, but you can let me know if you guys had to, sign into anything or go through some clicks, which is probably like that first, like welcome to Meta Business Suite. Then download the apps. Like I said, really right now, there's just one big one, which is the Business Suite. There's been times where I had several on my phone. Of course, the Facebook profile is another one, or just the Facebook app in general that you can access your profile and your page from. And then try to think of some ways you can incorporate events and content you can post, and work on that between now and the next trading, or if you're not coming to the next trading, just start working on that and go back and look at those insights and see how your audience responds, and then just move forward from that. So thank you for attending today. I'm going to pop up my screen here that has my contact information. Oh no, I hit the wrong thing. Let me go back. I did not mean to do that. Pop up my screen here that has my contact information, has my website. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out.